So after what feels like ages, we finally have another trailer for Sonic X Shadow Generations that was shown at Summer Games Fest, though just like the announcement trailer, some details of this trailer leaked out ahead of time. In this video I'm going to talk about what we saw in the trailer and discuss how it lined up with my ideas video that I previously made. There's a link to that video in the description if you haven't seen it yet, along with my initial breakdown for the announcement trailer. I'd also like to thank everyone for the support on those two videos, particularly the ideas video, as they've become some of the most popular videos I've ever made, and this channel has seen some insane growth from those videos. I'm glad that people have liked those videos and I'm grateful for all the feedback I received on them. So before we get into the trailer, a quick disclaimer: this video is releasing a lot later than I originally intended, and I am aware that since this trailer released, more gameplay for Sonic X Shadow Generations has been shown. I have not watched this gameplay, nor do I intend to, as personally I would rather experience the gameplay firsthand rather than seeing someone else playing it months ahead of time. So with that out of the way, let's now head into the trailer. So the trailer begins with the opening cinematic for the Egg Dragoon boss fight that appeared in the original Generations. I will say right off the bat that this trailer is definitely a lot more mixed in terms of showing us Sonic content compared to Shadow content, where the first trailer was almost exclusively all about Shadow. We do see a greater mix of the two campaigns in this trailer, but like I said in my initial breakdown video, we already know most of what we're getting with the Sonic sections of this game. I'm sure there will be some new additions, including one from the end of the trailer which we will discuss when we get there. Shadow! But I want to focus on the Shadow portion, as that is all new content for this game. I will say, for the Sonic sections that we do see, it all looks really good. Generations is already one of the best looking Sonic games anyway, and this remaster looks to be continuing that. It isn't a full-on remake, but that doesn't make it bad. Like I said originally, it's all about how they market it, and it seems they aren't trying to deceive us and claim that it's a Final Fantasy VII remake kind of scenario, so I'm fine with this being a light remaster. So with that said, let's get into the Shadow content. Firstly, we see a screen with text saying every generation needs its heroes, and then proceeds to show gameplay snippets from the original Generations, and a second screen saying and anti-heroes, before showing what looks like a pre-rendered CGI cutscene of Shadow and his campaign. The first thing I want to discuss here is that unless I'm mistaken and forgetting something really obvious, which if my ideas video is anything to go by, I certainly could be overlooking something, but I believe this is the first time Shadow has officially been referred to as an anti-hero in one of the games or the marketing for a game. I know that the majority of the fanbase has been claiming Shadow as an anti-hero since SA2, with some exceptions like 06, where I definitely think he falls into more of a hero role, but nonetheless it is interesting to see Sega officially call Shadow an anti-hero in the marketing for a game without multiple pathways like Shadow the Hedgehog had. While this is interesting, at least to me at least, what is definitely more interesting is the CGI cutscenes that follow. Now I should say that we only see about 2 seconds of these cutscenes, and I'm not 100% convinced that they are, although to me these 2 seconds look a step up above everything else in the trailer visually, leading me to believe that this is a CGI cutscene like we used to see in games like 06, Secret Rings, Unleashed and Black Knight. Though this could just be my nostalgia towards this style of cutscenes and my want for them to come back, telling me that this is a CGI cutscene. I should also say that even if this is a pre-rendered CGI cutscene, there is no guarantee that the final game will have them, as if you remember the original Generations from 2011 featured a few CGI scenes in its trailers, only for none of them to appear in the final game. So it's entirely possible this cutscene has been created purely for the trailer. This cutscene shows Shadow faced with a bright light that has a purple hue to it. We then see the time meter appear. I believe that this finally confirms that Shadow's campaign will be connected to the time meter somehow, as like I said in my other 2 videos, we hadn't seen anything directly connecting Shadow's story with the time meter or original Generations, but now we seemingly have confirmation, which is great to see. What was even better though was what followed. We saw what is either Rail Canyon or Bullet Station from Sonic Heroes. I am very happy to see a hero stage in this game, though these two wouldn't have been my first choices, but as I said in my ideas video, Bullet Station was the most likely candidate given it is the first stage where the Shadow Android plotline appears, which was an incredibly important plotline in both Heroes and later in Shadow the Hedgehog. However, after seeing the trailer, I honestly think they've chosen Rail Canyon. Now obviously Rail Canyon and Bullet Station share a lot of details, as they are like Act 1 and Act 2 of a zone, but given every clip we see of the stage, and with me personally going back to replay Team Dark's version of both Rail Canyon and Bullet Station after seeing this trailer, I was seeing more parallels to Rail Canyon than Bullet Station. There is of course nothing wrong with Rail Canyon, in fact of the two it's my preferred stage. However, Rail Canyon is more of a random choice for me, because there isn't anything major to Shadow in this stage like in Bullet Station, and I highly doubt either Rail Canyon or Bullet Station won any popularity contests like what happened with original Generations. With stages like Grand Metropolis, Mystic Mansion, Egg Fleet, and of course my favourite stage, Final Fortress, all receiving far more love from the wider fanbase, at least from what I've seen over the years. So if they have chosen Rail Canyon, I'm not entirely sure why. Of course this could all be a nothing point, as this could easily be Bullet Station, though I'm definitely leaning towards this being Rail Canyon. Regardless of which of the 2 stages this ends up being, it looks absolutely fantastic, and I'm looking forward to playing it. I will also say that if this turns out to be Bullet Station, then one of my predictions has turned out to be correct, which is always nice to see. During this gameplay, we see Shadow using the homing attack. Now, this initially seems like an obvious thing to see, but it is different than you might expect, as it is worth discussing for two reasons. One is that if you listen closely, you can hear the lock-on reticle noise from Sonic Forces. Not that there's anything wrong with that, I just find it a bit odd that they would go back to the Forces sound and not do one of the following. Make a new sound, use the existing Current Frontier sound, or go back to the Generation sound for consistency. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with this decision, it makes absolutely no difference and I'm definitely not complaining about it, just pointing out this little oddity. Hooray! The more interesting thing we see here is this strange glitchy ghosting effect on Shadow. Now this could be some new chaos power we haven't seen before, or this could be a side effect of the time meter on Shadow, or this could just be a stylistic choice. Something I missed from the announcement trailer is that if you look closely, this same ghosting effect is present in the homing attack. I don't think this is a new interpretation of Chaos Snap from Sonic 06, as there seems to be too much of a delay between the homing attack for it to be that. So this is likely just a design of the homing attack, though it is fun to speculate on why this is happening. It is worth noting that the trailer doesn't show Sonic using the homing attack, so we can't say for sure if this effect will be on Sonic as well, though I highly doubt it would be. I think it would be a combination of the Time Meter and Black Doom. As we see later in the trailer, Shadow is clearly getting some sort of power from Black Doom in this game. Something I didn't like seeing was the 3 egg pawns standing stationary in place. That felt very Forces-like and I'm not a fan.
Rid the universe of your filth! Why don't you just die?
It would be nice to see the enemies actually trying to attack, like how they did in Heroes and other games that this game takes inspiration from, though I will say they were actually animated and not statues. But it would have been better to see them moving or charging forward with their weapons in an attempt to attack Shadow. We also see a longer clip of Shadow falling through that city level that looks like Doctor Strange has been messing around with it. This again looked fantastic, and I'm curious to see if this is just a cutscene or if this will play into the gameplay at all, as this trailer shows us the environment from a completely different perspective. In the announcement trailer, Shadow looked more confident being there, determined to find Doom's Eye, as though this wasn't his first time in the environment. Whereas in this new trailer, Shadow looks far more shocked and unfamiliar with his surroundings, indicating it's his first time seeing this. We then get the tagline 3 Hedgehogs, showing modern and classic Sonic gameplay along with what honestly looked like a White World version of either Rail Canyon or Bullet Station, along with a different ghosting effect on Shadow as he is jumping from rail to rail, this one being a more yellow colour compared to the light blue colour from the homing attack. Again, it is worth noting that Sonic did not have any new effect on him while rail grinding, so this is seemingly exclusive to Shadow. This is followed by the tagline 2 Epic Adventures, confirming that while Sonic's story and Shadow's story may share a few elements, they are in fact 2 separate stories, which leads me to believe they occur at 2 separate times, leaving the door open for stages for games that released after Generations to appear in Shadow's campaign, though we haven't seen any in either trailer. After another glimpse of Final Chase and Rail Canyon or Bullet Station, we see the second new stage for Shadow's campaign, Kingdom Valley. So you may remember from my ideas video that I called this one. It may have been the most obvious choice for a stage, but I did call this one, and I'm very happy to see this stage return, as it is one of my favourite stages from 06 along with Crisis City, which of course we already have in base Generations. I did think that they could have chosen Dusty Desert, as that is where Shadow and Mephiles have their final fight before Mephiles becomes Solaris, but I'm hoping that they are saving Dusty Desert for a Mephiles rival fight. Kingdom Valley was one of my top 2 choices, the other one being White Acropolis, so I'm very happy to see it return in this game. It was also great to see the enemy design from 06 return in this new Kingdom Valley, despite them suffering the same issue as the egg pawns from Rail Canyon or Bullet Station. This leads us on to the final Shadow section of this trailer, and it sure was unexpected, unless you saw the leaks. Yes, out of nowhere it seemed Black Doom possesses Shadow and gives him demonic wings. I think a good comparison would be Venom from Marvel's Spider-Man 2, where he grows wings that look visually similar. Now, I have a feeling that most people are either going to think this is really cool or really silly. I fall into the really cool camp.
This is really cool.
I think it's great to see Sega utilising Shadow's connection to Black Doom and the Black Arms in this way after all this time, and it makes me wonder if this is a new form, or if we will be able to do different things with these Black Arms powers. Perhaps these will replace vehicles in some stages. Maybe these powers will be able to give Shadow a higher jump, or a double jump, or maybe a stronger fasting homing attack, in addition to whatever the wings allow us to do, like flying through stages, like how the gliders used to do in 06. With new unseen powers being introduced, the sky is the limit. And interesting as this concept is, it also makes me feel like we may be less likely to see Super Shadow, as Sega may not want to overshadow this new form and its abilities with a Super Shadow form. But we did see Super Sonic in Unleashed, which had the Werehog as an alternate form, so who knows really. And that is the end of the trailer. However, we do see some other things at the end. Crucially, we get the release date of October 25th. That isn't that far away in all honesty, though I hope Sega has learnt from their past and delays this game if necessary.
Tavok!
Generations is an incredibly popular title, a remaster is almost guaranteed to be a commercial success, regardless of quality, especially since even the worst reviewed Sonic games sell really well. Look at 06, most people consider it one of the weakest in the series, yet it's a bestseller. There is also no anniversary date to meet here, so there is no real reason for this game not to get a delay if it is necessary. I hope they don't pull a Colors Ultimate and release the game in a broken, buggy mess. Please, Sega. No epilepsy this time. Please. Seriously though, how did this get past any testing? We also get the official reveal of the box art, which I think is pretty cool. Honestly, I did think we would see something like this for the box art of this game, though I am glad to see some more colour on this art compared to the original Generations box art, which, while thematically relevant, was a little bland being just a white background. With a little bit of Green Hill there too. At the right of the screen we see the pre-order bonuses for this game. Unfortunately no collector's edition in sight, but Sega don't tend to make collector's editions very often, though part of me was hoping to see one that featured a statue of both Sonics with Shadow as well, but it seems it was not meant to be. What we do see is Gerald Robotnik's journal, which I'm assuming will be a physical booklet that comes with physical copies of the game. We only see 2 pages of it in the picture and we can't really tell how big or thick it is. My hope would be for something substantial, preferably a small leather-bound notebook, though for a free pre-order bonus I expect it will be a small paperback with maybe 10 pages at absolute most. We also see a Sonic Adventure 1 skin for Sonic, which confirms that alternative skins are going to be a thing in this game. I hope Sega takes full advantage of this for both Sonic's and Shadow, getting things like a hero skin, maybe some of the Colors Ultimate styles could return, movie skins could be great to see, maybe Black Knight, Secret Rings, and of course SA2 skins. Now I am going on to discuss the SA2 skins in a little bit more detail here, but I've just had a little bit of a post-production thought, literally as I'm editing the video. How cool would it be if we could get alternate skins for the super forms? We could get things like Dark Spine Sonic, Dark Sonic for Sonic X, we could get Excalibur Sonic, Hyper Sonic, how incredible would that be to see return? This could also work for Shadow, although he's only really had the one super form. I guess they could create some, maybe pull something from the IDW comics, I don't know, I don't follow them as much. So yeah, basically seeing styles for the super forms would also be incredible. Now, back to the scheduled SA2 skin discussion. To be honest, I am surprised they didn't go for SA2 skins as the bonuses here, though I assume they will be in game from launch, likely as end of game rewards that will probably be locked behind a lot of skill points, or maybe rings will be used as a currency for alternate skins. Nothing so far suggests that this game will feature microtransactions, though they are always a possibility when skins and cosmetics are involved. And finally for this screen at the bottom we see all the platforms this game will be available for. PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch, Steam and Epic Games. Interesting that they list both Steam and Epic Games here, as companies usually go for one or the other, at least for a period of timed exclusivity, usually going to Epic and then Steam, see Colors Ultimate. Then again, we don't have confirmation that this game will release on the same day for both storefronts, so PC players may have to wait for the game to be available on their launcher of choice. Also worth noting here is that there is no reference to Nintendo's next system, which is rumoured to be releasing in 2025. Of course, we weren't expecting this, but just something to throw in here as people are expecting that system to release, so perhaps an updated version will be released afterwards when Nintendo's next console does release, but we'll have to wait and see at this point. The screen then transitions to the Digital Deluxe bonuses, which include a bonus skill point set, a digital art book, a digital soundtrack for the game, and a few others that really piqued my interest. Firstly, there is an extra background music pack. This not only confirms one of my predictions from my ideas video, but it potentially means that Sega will release more music packs for this game over time. I really hope this is the case, as customizing the music in Generations led to some great moments and some hilarious moments too. Next up was an additional level and skin for Shadow. Now the skin could be referencing the skin that is shown in the trailer, which we will talk about in a moment, or it could be another skin in addition to the shown skin. The information doesn't make it clear which option it is. The other part of this bonus though, another level for Shadow. This is fantastic news. They do say that this level will release for everyone else in holiday 2024, so look to Christmas time for that. The fact that we have confirmation that more stages are coming gives me hope that Sega will finally do what they always should have done with the original Generations and release DLC containing new levels for other games, or games that featured already. The possibilities are endless for what could be included, since we don't know if what we have seen is everything in the game or not. Speculation can run rampant here. This news is truly great to me, and it confirms one of my biggest requests from my ideas video, being more stages from other games. Ideally we would see new stages for both Sonics as well as Shadow, but the fact that they are committing to new stages being added post-launch is really cool to see. Though you could debate the ethical side of holding back content for a pre-order bonus, I think we will have to wait and see what the final product is like before we determine if this is seen as Sega supporting a complete game post-launch, or purposely holding back content to make the game seem like a more complete product that is getting new content when that content should have been there from the beginning. The final thing shown for the Digital Deluxe Edition is another skin, as previously mentioned. This skin is quite the deep cut reference, and if you're a more casual Sonic fan or a relatively newcomer to the series, then this skin, the Tyrios skin, may not mean much to you. However, when I saw this, I personally could not believe it. For those who don't know, Tyrios is an older concept version of Shadow, one that got so far into development of the game's story that I assume they wrote the whole story around Tyrios, which to me is the only justifiable reason why everyone mistakes Sonic for Shadow in Adventure 2, as Tyrios looks far closer to Sonic than Shadow, who honestly looks nothing like Sonic.
I found you, Faker! Faker? I think you're the fake hedgehog around here. You're comparing yourself to me? Huh? You're not even good enough to be I'll make you eat those words!
Seeing Tyrios here is great to see, though I'm not sure if the Tyrios skin will remain exclusive to the Digital Deluxe Edition or if it will be available to all players later down the line. Of course, I'm sure PC players will have this skin modded in a few months of this game's release regardless. And that's the end of the trailer. Now, as I said in the disclaimer intro, there is more footage of this game available to see now that I'm not covering here. I don't plan to watch anything that isn't an official trailer, as I would rather most of the game be new to me without watching extended clips of gameplay that could spoil stages and other features. Based on the 2 trailers we have gotten for this game, I am really excited to play it. There are some issues that I have with what we've been shown, the biggest being the stationary enemies. It would be really nice to see enemies that actually try to fight back again. But on the whole, the level design looks to be a step up from Forces, the visuals look great, and the story seems like it could be really interesting. So, thank you all for watching this breakdown. I apologise again in the delay for getting this out. Trust me, I would have much rather been making this video than being sick for over a week, but you know, sometimes things happen. I do have another video planned involving this game that I plan to release before the game comes out in October, which will be focused on some of the great ideas I received in the comments of my ideas videos, as there were some really interesting thoughts shared in the comments of that video. I also will cover any other trailers that release before the game's release, so look forward to those videos, and thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and have a great day.
Shadow! Hooray! Shadow!
Why don't you just die?
Hooray!